What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. The FBI warns that major attacks could be happening here in the US. That's right. Congress and the Republicans, with the new Republican speaker, are considering $14 billion in aid for Israel. But there's a major catch, and I'll give you the details here on that. And there is new major attacks going on here right now that I will give you the details here on as well in this video. So let's jump right in. If you appreciate these updates, don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. And let's jump right in. Here we go. Also, happy Halloween. I will have some special guests for you guys here at the end of this video. So make sure to stay to the end for that here. Yeah. The FBI director says that new attacks in the US, a major warning could be coming, and these new attacks could be coming here in the US. Take a listen to what he has to say.
About the most pressing national security threats that what we face and what we're doing to tackle them are always important, but it seems especially well-timed this year with the dangerous implications the very fluid situation in the Middle East has for our homeland security. The reality is that the terrorism threat has been elevated throughout 2023, but the ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole nother level. Since the horrific terrorist attacks committed by Hamas against innocent people in Israel a few weeks ago, we've been working around the clock to support our partners there and to protect Americans here at home. We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration, the likes of which we haven't seen since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago. In just the past few weeks, multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans and the West. Al-Qaeda issued its most specific call to attack the United States in the last 5 years. ISIS urged its followers to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe. Hezbollah has publicly expressed its support for Hamas and threatened to attack U.S. interests in the Middle East. And we've seen an increase in attacks on U.S. military bases overseas carried out by militia groups backed by Iran. Here in the United States, our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives. That includes not just homegrown violent extremists inspired by a foreign terrorist organization, but also domestic violent extremists targeting Jewish or Muslim communities. We've already seen that with the individual we arrested last week in Houston who'd been studying how to build bombs and posted online about his support for killing Jews. And with the tragic killing of a 6-year-old Muslim boy in Illinois in what we're investigating as a federal hate crime. But as I said a few moments ago, on top of the homegrown violent extremists and domestic violent extremist threat, we also cannot and do not discount the possibility that Hamas or another foreign terrorist organization may exploit the current conflict to conduct attacks here on our own soil. We have kept our sights on Hamas and have multiple ongoing investigations into individuals affiliated with that foreign terrorist organization. And while historically our Hamas cases have identified individuals located here who are facilitating and financing Hamas's terrorism overseas, we're continuing to scrutinize our intelligence to assess how the threat may be evolving. But it's not just Hamas. As the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, the Iranians, for instance, have directly or by hiring criminals mounted assassination attempts against dissidents and high-ranking current and former U.S. government officials, including right here on American soil. And along those lines, Hezbollah, Iran's primary strategic partner, has a history of seeding operatives and infrastructure, obtaining money and weapons and spying in this country going back years. Given that disturbing history, we are keeping a close eye on what impact recent events may have on those groups' intentions here in the United States and how those intentions might evolve. For example, the cyber targeting of American interests and critical infrastructure that we already see conducted by Iran and non-state actors alike, we can expect to get worse if the conflict expands, as will the threat of kinetic attacks.
You can let me know your thoughts on this, but we've already seen multiple different types of this type of stuff already happening here in the United States. The new Republican House Speaker, Mike Johnson, says that $14.3 billion in U.S. aid to Israel could happen, but there's a big catch to it. In order for this to happen, or at least the proposal, the $14.3 billion would need to be reduced from the Inflation Reduction Act and reduced from IRS funds in the Democratic presidential signature law, President Biden's signature law, reduced from IRS funds. That's right. Here is what Speaker Mike Johnson had to say. Take a listen.
14.5 billion is the number that you're looking at, and you suggest that maybe you'll get a bipartisan vote here.
I sure hope so.
Do you have any sense of the number of Democrats who you think might come?
I hope that it's most or all of them. I mean, there's a few people who have philosophical differences on that, and we'll have some intense debates about their opposition to that. But look, this is a matter of good versus evil. I think what Prime Minister Netanyahu said just a couple of days ago is exactly right. It's good versus evil. It's light versus darkness. I spoke with him on the telephone, I think it was Saturday night. I've known him for some time, and we spoke in those very clear terms. And we understand what's at stake here. And I hope that everyone will put politics aside, get that bill over the line. We're going to have pay-fors in it. We're not just going to print money and send it overseas, because the other concern we have that is overriding this is our own strength as a nation, which is tied to our fiscal stability. And that's a big problem that we have as well. We have to keep it in mind as we try to help everyone else.
How's it going to be paid for?
We're going to be releasing that here shortly, but
Okay.
my intention and my desire in the first draft of this bill is to take some of the money that has been set aside for the building and bulking up the IRS right now. They have about $67 billion in that fund, and we'll try to take the 14.5 necessary for this immediate and urgent need. We'll deal with the rest of that issue later.
Do you think that will drive away some Democrats in the Senate even, or here in the House?
It may, but my intention is to call Leader Schumer over there and have a very direct and thoughtful conversation about this. I understand their priority is to bulk up the IRS, but I think if you put this to the American people and they weigh the two needs, I think they're going to say standing with Israel and protecting the innocent over there is in our national interest and is a more immediate need than IRS agents.
It does also look like, being reported here, Republicans are looking to cut funding for a free digital tax filing system currently being developed by the IRS to fund this as well. So we will see what happens. I expect that a lot of Democrats will not be happy about this, where the money is going to be cut from. We will see. Also, a very controversial attack has happened here today. You can see here the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, confirm an airstrike on a Gaza refugee camp. Claims a top terrorist was taken out. There's going to be probably, or already is, a lot of blowback on this. Take a listen here.
Gaza, and new pictures showing the site of a massive explosion at a refugee camp just a few miles outside of Gaza City. NBC's Raf Sanchez is reporting from Ashdod, Israel. What do we know about this?
So, Chris, this explosion happened at the Jabalia refugee camp. This is the largest of the 8 refugee camps in Gaza. It is, as you said, in the northern end of the Gaza Strip. It's close to the Israeli border. We are seeing just the scenes of enormous destruction there inside that refugee camp. A local hospital official tells us dozens of people were killed. We don't have an exact number, but dozens of people were killed. many, many more injured. And Chris, in just the last couple of minutes, the Israeli military has confirmed that it was one of their strikes which caused that explosion in the refugee camp. They say that they successfully targeted a senior Hamas military leader who was responsible for one of the commando units involved in the massacre inside of Israel on October 7th. The Israeli military is saying they were targeting him. They were targeting underground tunnels inside of this camp. They say they successfully killed him. They say they successfully killed a number of Hamas officials who were with him. And they are confirming that what they're calling underground terrorist infrastructure beneath buildings inside that camp collapsed after the strike. Now, Chris, you can see in those pictures, there are just these absolutely enormous craters. Those could be a sign of these massive Israeli bunker buster bombs, which they use. It could be that the bomb itself caused the foundations of neighboring buildings to collapse. It could also be, as the Israeli military says, that there were tunnels underneath these buildings and that the buildings basically collapsed into these exposed tunnels. We should be really clear. We cannot get into Gaza. We cannot access this refugee camp. We cannot verify the Israeli military's claim that they have successfully killed a senior Hamas leader and that they were targeting tunnels. We do know this is happening in the northern end of Gaza, which is where most of this fighting is concentrated. The Israeli ground forces are surrounding Gaza City, which is up in the north. They have been urging Palestinian civilians, to flee south. They are saying that they will be safe if they go south. But Chris, the reality is Israeli strikes are continuing in the south too. They are hitting in Khan Yunis. They are hitting in other areas. The United Nations is saying there is nowhere safe for Palestinians right now, to say nothing of the dire shortages they are facing, food, medicine, basics. And as we were talking about in the last hour, the UN humanitarian organizations say they need fuel. No fuel has got into Gaza since October 7th. And they say without it, they cannot keep the lights on at hospitals, and they cannot distribute that, frankly, rather small amount of aid which has made it in so far from Egypt.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is the sad part of war. And, this is the problem, is that if there actually is military leaders and military troops hiding in there with underground tunnels hiding in there, we've seen this strategy done before. It's a legitimate target, and they actually use this. And we know that Hamas is using human shields to hide this, or to hide behind this, or to hide behind them. It's really sad. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments.
What's up, guys? It's Jimmy here, and we're gonna have another Halloween Jimmy episode. It's me, Mario, and Luigi and Princess Peach. That's Daddy. That's Luigi. This me is Mario, and that's Princess Peach.
Yay!
And this is Luigi.
Yay!
And this is Mario. Yay!
Yay!
And we just want to do a special video with our costumes on. Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween! Say it, Daddy.
Happy Halloween! I don't know how to.
And Mario too.
Yeah, I guess I gotta make a Luigi voice here. It's me, Luigi.
It's me, Mario.
And make a Peach voice.
Ooh.
So, are you excited to go trick or treating here right after this?
Yes, it's Mario.
We got to get you a super mushroom.
Oh, Lord.
So, Laura, everybody's been asking, how have you been feeling since your surgery?
Not very good.
Yeah.
Jury's out on if it worked or not. We'll have to let you know.
She's been in a lot of pain since then.
Yes, he did.
I don't know if I'm still recovering or if it didn't work or if it's made it worse. So
Yeah, took on Mario.
we'll have to be determined.
Yeah, she's got to follow up with her doctor in Texas in like 10 days.
Next week.
The day before her birthday, November 11th.
Yeah.
11/11.
Mario.
So as of right now, your pain's been, how would you say?
Not very good. 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope it's just post-op pain, but
Ain't looking good.
yeah. So if you didn't know, my wife has a rare kidney disease called MSK, and we went to Texas to see a world-renowned surgeon to get it hopefully fixed, but we will see if it worked or not.
Yeah.
Wish everyone a happy Halloween. Bye.
So bye, happy Halloween, everybody. We love you. Say bye-bye.
Bye. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach. Princess Rangas. Mario, Luigi. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach.